everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free review of the new movie, It Chapter 2. The movie just came out today, and it's directed by Andy Muschietti, again, returning from the first one. Written by Gary Doberman, who also helped write the first one. And this time it follows the Losers Club going back to Derry to fight off Pennywise again after he returns from his 27-year sleep. This movie was awesome. I kind of had low expectations for it because I know if the adult part of the book is not really the best part of the book and everything, and of course the miniseries, the second part was definitely not very good, but I absolutely loved this one. The cast was awesome. I was concerned when I had heard about all the casting and everything, because I was like, I don't know that I can see all these people as the older versions of the characters, but I think they were all great and everything. The only one that I had trouble convincing me was an older version of the character was the guy that played Ben, and I think it's just because Ben was fat in the original, and it's just weird seeing some. I know they did that in the miniseries and in the book too. He loses his baby fat and stuff, but it just is. It's kind of weird seeing this guy play him. Because he kind of looks like a pretty boy model type person, but besides that, but he still did a fine job. James McAvoy plays Bill, and I was really impressed. He gave a really, really good performance and everything. I don't know why I underestimate him, because I know he's a really good actor and everything. I love him in the X-Men movies. I loved him in Narnia and everything else I've seen him in. I haven't seen Split and Glass, but I know he's great in those just by the trailers and clips that I've seen. And he was great as Bill. Jessica Chastain was great as Beverly. She was one of the ones I was kind of curious about whether I would think she was going to be as good or not and everything. I haven't seen a lot of Jessica Chastain's stuff, but everything I've seen for the most part I've liked. But the last thing I saw her in before this movie was Dark Phoenix, and I thought she was absolutely terrible in that one. But that was just because of how the character was written. It was more to do with that than her performance, really. I really liked her in this movie. I thought she was really good as Beverly. Andy Bean plays the adult version of Stanley, which of course isn't in here very much. If you've read the book or seen the miniseries, you know why. I'm not going to say anything else about that. Isaiah Mustafa plays Mike, and I thought he was pretty good too. James Ransone plays Eddie, and he was really good. I thought he was one of the best cast ones, and I could really see him as an adult version of Jack Dylan Grazer. It was really weird, because I mean they look a lot. It really does look like he could be an adult version of him. And then Henry, the bully from the first one, is played by Teach Grant as an adult and everything, and he was really good too. He did a really good job playing the psychotic the psychotic side of Henry. I thought he was really good. And then of course I gotta mention my fellow Oklahoman, and the one that I felt stood out the most in this movie, just like in the first movie, the same character, Richie. In the first one it was Finn Wolfhard, and he was amazing in that role and everything. And in this one it's Bill Hader. He's one of my favorite actors and everything. I've loved him since his SNL days. I've always thought he was hilarious and everything, and he was perfect as Richie. When they announced that they were casting him, I was like, man, that's going to be a perfect casting, and he nailed it. It was just as good as I expected it was going to be him. And he even gives, I mean, as you know, the movie has its dramatic stuff too, and he does a really good job with that. He brings a lot of humor to it, just like Finn Wolfhard did in the first one and everything, but he also does give one great performance. He was one of the best things about the movie, and all of them were really great. And that was something I was really, really happy about, because the adults in the miniseries, they didn't hardly have any chemistry. They were not near as good in the miniseries, but they all of these people, they looked like they were having fun filming this movie together and everything. And I think there were some scenes where they were having a hard time keeping straight faces when Bill Hader was joking and stuff. I'm sure behind the scenes he was probably going miles at it with his jokes and stuff, and probably is the reason why it looks like why they were laughing so hard and everything. But he was just, this movie was just awesome. It had some really brutal kills and everything. There was one part at the beginning of the movie that really, I could tell, was making not just me but the entire audience really uncomfortable. If you've seen the movie or read the book, you probably know what I'm talking about. But I don't want to say what it is if you haven't read the book or seen it. But it's something that wasn't in the miniseries, though, I can tell you that much. It was brutal and everything. And there was some other brutal things in here too, but there was Pennywise. I don't really think that Pennywise is all that scary, to be honest, but he was pretty creepy. But like I said, I still stand by that I like Tim Curry better as Pennywise, and part of that is because they use a ton of CGI in this one. The first one had, I know a lot of people were like the first one had too much CGI, but that was nothing compared to this one. But with some of the things they had to do, I guess it makes sense why they did. But some of the CGI was terrible, and some of it was fine. Like they had to use CGI to de-age the kids, which I didn't even know that until Lee from Lebo Man Review Stuff had mentioned it when we were chatting in our chat group earlier. And that CGI was great. And the CGI when Pennywise is a spider, because as you know, at the end he becomes a spider thing, and he was it looked pretty good and everything, but there were other parts where the CGI was just absolutely terrible. But luckily it wasn't like too heavy on, I mean, it was pretty CGI heavy, but it wasn't throughout the whole movie, because the movie does focus a lot on the characters like the original one did. And that's one of the things that I loved about these movies, is that the characters are so well written and everything. And there's some surprise cameos in this movie too, which I thought was pretty awesome. There's at least 2 that I caught, and I think there was probably, I'm trying to remember, I know there was at least 2 that I caught that one of them there's no way you could miss, and the other one I caught, I'm pretty sure it's the person I think it is. I don't want to say who it is though. If you want to know, you can ask me and I'll tell you. But the movie is almost 3 hours long, and it didn't feel like it. I've seen people reviewing it say the movie wasn't as good as they were hoping it was, and it was too long and stuff. But I think that the longer running time actually is probably why this movie was so good, because there was so much that they left out in the miniseries, making each half just an hour and a half. There was so much they left out, but in this one they took their time on everything, and I think it worked a whole lot better and everything. So and the Benjamin Wallfish's score is still really good. I don't know if I like it more than I do the first one, or probably about the same, really. It's not a lot different. The cinematography is really great in this. And the kid actors, they do come back in flashbacks, and they're all really good. And like I said, some of them, or some scenes, they use CGI to de-age them, and you can't really tell, which I think is great, because it's not very often that a movie does the CGI de-aging where it really looks good. The only other ones I can think of were Tron Legacy and Captain Marvel with Samuel Jackson, which I think they also used makeup on him for that, but anyway, but I'd give it Chapter 2 a 9.5 out of 10 for the same reasons I gave the first one 9.5 instead of a 10, because of the CGI. That's really the only thing that I have to complain about. It was a great movie, great adaptation, and I can honestly say these two movies adapted the book very, very well. There are a lot of things that are left out and everything of the book, but they still managed to make really great movies and everything. So, but anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of this movie if you've seen it, and what you thought of the cameos. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody. I would also like to throw out a big thank you to Universal for putting the entire freaking movie into the trailer for Black Christmas, another movie run by freaking spoilers in the trailer. So just wanted to say thank you for that, buttheads.